guys.
Look at you with the Star of India.
Without the audience.
You're representing my people in the Star of India. I love that.
That's right. You recognize even reading it backwards, right? Is it backwards for you guys, or is it frontwards?
No,
it's perfect.
That it looks like it's backwards to you, but it actually
That's
for the
cool.
audience, it's forward for us.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, I'm really excited today because we're going to be talking about a topic that I know zero things about, and I'm excited to learn about it because I know it's so important. It's so important for us to be knowledgeable about things that other people are going through. But today we're going to be talking about a really, really, really serious topic, and that's gastric bypass surgery. And I actually was trying to get one of my friends who's a world-renowned gastric bypass surgeon. I was trying to get him to join us, but he's not available because he's got his own event that he's putting on this week, and he's like, I'm not available. But today we're going to be talking about this topic because one of our co-hosts here has actually experienced this.
Woohoo!
Da, 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 da. Which you is the one?
Okay, which one? We should see if our viewers. It doesn't really matter.
Someone just said gastric bypass. Yes, gastric bypass.
Gastric bypass.
Yes, exactly. So first, how are you guys doing today? As you can tell, I'm at the Star of India, which is in San Diego, California. I'm on the harbor doing the show from here. I was downtown today, and I thought I could do this in my car, or I could do this at the Star of India. So
you know what?
Star of India.
If I didn't see you, and if I just heard you, I would have thought you're in a restaurant called the Star of India. Because doesn't it sound like a restaurant? Like tell me about the Star of India. Do you know anything about that, or you just know that it's just called the Star of India?
Look at that! Oh my gosh!
And we have that cruise ship out there.
The sail ship. Oh my gosh!
I should show you just how beautiful my scenery is with Mary's. No.
Okay, I won't be able to see. I can't see you guys, but I can hear
I
you.
won't
So
even show you. You'll turn
it's like
into
I'm on radio. Wait, it's like I'm on radio. Okay. Well,
we can see you though.
Okay, cool. I don't know what you guys can see right now because my camera is having problems, so that's okay. I'm here. I can hear you guys, and I can see the beautiful blue skies here in San Diego. Sorry, I just had to say it. Hey,
so you don't know what you did? It's going like super fast. Look at that thing go. Or maybe that person was just going fast. Let's just watch what's happening here. This is interesting. There's two people walking.
There's all these little scooters. There's
there
he goes. There's like 4 scooters. What's a scoot there? Everyone scoot.
Wait,
isn't it a scooting? There's another one. It's a scooting community.
It is. It's a scooting community. It's a community of tourists. It's a tourist community. Okay, I have to jump out and come back in because I can't tell what's going on, and I can't flip my camera around. And VLive just told me that it needs to. Oh, there I am. I'm back. All right. Okay. Cool. Wait, before we go forward, you guys, I would love it. Can you guys do me a favor?
What?
Can you sing Happy Birthday to my husband with me?
Yes.
How fun. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, ready?
Go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Weedy. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, we got the like the worst trio I've ever heard.
Cha-cha-cha. All right.
I've heard worse. I've heard worse.
Bypass surgery for weight loss. Is there any other reason for and I'm not saying that to be like facetious or whatever, if that's the right word to use. Is there any other reason to engage in gastric bypass surgery?
I guess if you lose your stomach or something. I can't imagine.
We don't know if there's any other reason, but we know that it's primarily weight loss.
Well, they're probably wondering why we're even talking about it. That's probably
because so are we. Like, we're wondering, like, we don't even know anything. Why are we talking about this topic? Well, because Mary has actually had an experience, has had gastric bypass surgery, and I'm really, really interested, Mary, to hear the story of it, because like, what brings on somebody to go to the point that they're like, this is my option? You know, like, I want to hear this because I know how there's a lot of people who have it. I don't know the numbers, but a lot of people have it, you know, every year, every day there's people having gastric bypass surgery. And so I want to hear your story and like, let's get down into it and hear all about it. And then we're going to be bringing on Nicole. What's her last name? Yes. Nicole. Okay. Monier. We're going to be bringing her on to talk about, you know, health and nutrition and how like after you have the surgery you can get into good health and nutrition, but not only that is maybe preventing having a surgery. So I want to just say, Mary, take it away.
Oh, wow. I mean, there's so much to throw in here. So I'm just going to start with, I don't know if we can see this. Let me see. All right. We're starting with that. See that picture in the back, that unhappy person right there? That's me.
Actually, Steven, you can show the picture that Mary sent to the Taco Tuesday. You can put that picture up on the screen. Yeah.
Okay. So that was me. And what happened is, oh, there it is. It's disgusting. I look at that picture now. I don't even see it anymore.
You're like, that's not me. That's not me.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually carried this picture with me. This was taken actually 15 years ago. I carry it in my wallet. That's why it's pretty much disheveled here. I carry it with me every single day to remind me of what happened. That was actually 1 week before surgery. That's what, and I carried it with me. A long time ago for gastric bypass surgery, you didn't have to go through all the stuff they do now. So now gastric bypass surgery, and there's two different ways that are really popular now. One they kind of took away. But those 2 ways that are popular now, which is the Roux-en-Y, which I had, and then they also have the sleeve. Those are the 2 popular ones. And when I did mine, there was no criteria. You went in and they said, yep, you're a fat woman. You can have the surgery. I'm like,
wow.
Okay, well, can we take a second here real quick? I don't mean to cut you off. I totally want to hear what you have to say, but let's just pretend for a moment that there may be viewers who've never even heard of it, nor do they understand it. And so if we can just give them kind of a quick 101 of what that is.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I am prepared. If you can see this picture right there, that is the stomach with the intestine.
Hold on.
That's called a Roux-en-Y. They make a Y out of your intestine on your stomach. That's called the Roux-en-Y gastric bypass surgery.
Wait, you said that they make a what out of your what?
Okay, what they do is they take your stomach, okay, they cut the top of it, take your intestines and attach it to the top. So your bottom stomach does nothing. It's closed off, it does nothing, it's done.
Do they take it out or they just kind of close it and it's still there?
Close it. You can't take it out, but it's still, because there's still a little bit of stuff in there that you need, so they don't take it out. Then the sleeve is where they actually put a thing around the stomach, and it actually stops you from eating. But it's not a total, like mine's a total reconfiguration of my insides.
Okay.
Wow.
That's huge. That's a seriously invasive surgery. And what would cause, how do I say this? What parameters do you have to go through in order for you to get accepted to having something like that?
You have to have 2 medical, when I was doing it, you had to have 2 medical conditions. You had to be morbidly obese, and I was 418 pounds. And then you also have another medical thing, and mine was sleep apnea.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, it's good to know because some people think they can just go get it. And I don't know how things are handled today, but
a lot different. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I have a question on that, Mary. When you, because you got up to 418 pounds, wow. What was that like on a daily basis? Getting out of bed, taking showers, walking around, getting in and out of the car, going to the grocery store. What was that like?
Well, because I was a student athlete when I was young, and I did a lot of stuff, and I wasn't heavy when I was young. When I became heavy, it was because I had preeclampsia with my first daughter. And that's when you kind of basically lay around and do nothing because of a condition. And so I gained so much weight during that and then kept it on. And a lot of, all right, here we go. I'll let my guts out here. A lot of my
good one. Give us your guts.
Yeah. A lot of my weight gain between both daughters was of guilt. If you remember, I told you in one of our earlier shows, I gave away a son for adoption.
Guilt.
So can you imagine the guilt and the food that I was eating because of the fact that now I'm having 2 children and I had a kid out there for adoption. So I just ate my guilt. I ate it. Mm-hmm. And everyone, it was kind of, when I first started gaining weight, people would always say, oh my gosh, Mary, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I'd say, I'm pregnant. When I was pregnant, I kind of went around. And so no one really kind of did anything. And when the preeclampsia came in, well, then I ended up being in bed rest. So, but each time I had a child, that guilt was more and more and more. And so I just ate my guilt until I got to 418 pounds.
Yeah, that happens.
Wow.
That's totally, the whole mindset changes because you kind of give in, and that was your probably people want to find something to fill the void. And it's easy to fill the void with food because food tastes good. Your brain's like, hey, give me more, and it's available.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I just want to say for anybody watching this show that none of us is a doctor. None of us is saying have this done. None of us is, we're just people who are talking about it. And so I just want to make sure that anybody knows that we're not advocating for it. We're not advocating against it. We're just sharing Mary's story. And that's what we're doing here. So I don't want anybody to say, oh, they made me do it. No, that's not, that's not us at all.
That's not our goal.
And then if you have had gastric bypass surgery, in the comments below, just if you're willing to share that you had, why don't you put in the comments below that you had it, and then share with us your experience with it also, as Mary's telling her story. So I want to hear Mary continue. That was a really great question.
You were sharing two different ways that you can have gastric bypass, and so I appreciate you sharing the 101 of it so that people knew. And now if we can go back, just like she said, to see what were the two kinds you could choose from.
Yeah. Now I back then they didn't have anything but the Roux-en-Y. That was all they had. And they didn't tell me the dangers of it. They didn't tell me all that type of stuff because back 15 years ago they just did it. They didn't care. They just did it. So with that being said, when they did it, I had a lot of complications. And I know we only have so much time, so I'll kind of throw it all in there so you can hear.
Yeah.
My first one they did, I know, my first one they did it incorrectly. When they sewed that stomach part, here's your stomach, when they sewed my stomach part here, they sewed it with crevices. So those crevices developed ulcers.
Oh my
and
goodness.
I couldn't eat or anything, and the pain was unbelievable. So they had to go back and redo it, and then they made it smaller. Well, when they made it smaller, that caused even more problem because you really can't eat, right? Because there was nothing there. There was not even for anything. There was no room for it to go from the esophagus to my intestine because it was just so small.
It's too
so
small.
They had to go back in again. Went back in again, and they did it. And this time, I don't know if you know this, but when you get hungry, and when you know hunger in your brain, it's from the part of your stomach tells you that. Well, now that part was gone. So I don't know when I'm hungry. I don't know when I'm full. Nothing, because nothing tells me that.
The receptors are they're severed, so you don't get to know.
They took all that out.
Body can't communicate to you. Okay.
Exactly. Then amongst that happened things like, I actually had 12 surgeries within 12 years. And every surgery, the first 4 were for the revision, where they went back in and tried to fix it. The other ones, because of the surgery, caused hernias. Then I had hernias surgery. Then I had a mesh put in. Then I had mesh taken out. Then I had sepsis. And then I actually had a wound back with an open wound in my stomach at home with a nurse and an IV bag because of all this that initially started with the gastric bypass. Now, gastric bypass is a tool, and I learned that late. I didn't learn that in the beginning because they didn't teach us that. But it's a tool to help you lose weight. So, of course, I lost tons of weight right away. Man, it was unbelievable. Lost it all right away. But also lost all the nutrition. And this is a really good thing I didn't know, but I wish I would have known. Once you lose that nutrition, you really have a hard time getting it back. Like, let me give you an example. My teeth would break. I would have a carrot or an apple. My teeth would just break. My daughter gave me a hug. We were having fun. Anita, how you and your daughter can wrestle around and have fun and hug each other. She hugged me and broke 2 ribs.
So it changed the bone density, maybe it made it brittle.
Yep. Changed my bone density. My hair.
Wait, just hang on a second. Can I just take this in for a moment here? I'm having empathetic pains happening in my system for you because I'm going back to the surgeries that you've had to correct the revisions, and while the revisions are taking place, you are breaking bones. And you're trying to love your child,
right?
And you just want to live. So,
right.
I can't imagine the guilt.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Yeah.
No, that was it.
I said on top of it, I had an open wound because I got sepsis after all this. So my kids were Yeah, they had a wound back, and the doctor and the nurse came in every day, and I walked around with an IV and the whole bit. But my kids were young at that time, and they were going through that. But with that being said, the stuff I learned going through all that, that's why I'm involved with a lot of different groups, and I will help them and share with them all that information, because nowadays they are actually making people go through all that testing, like psychology, and you have to lose so much weight before you even begin. With me, they just went in and said, sure, cut you up.
Yeah.
And it's terrible. I have incisions all the way up and down my stomach. I have no belly button left. I have everything that you could possibly think of gone. And the worst thing about all of it is I should be super, super thin. I'm not, because again, two reasons. One, my body's still in that mode of malnutrition because I don't have a stomach now at all.
How many years ago was this?
15.
15 years ago. Okay.
And I don't have a stomach that it goes into at all. It goes from my mouth to my esophagus to my intestine.
Right.
And I couldn't chew right because I lost so many teeth. I couldn't get my food going right because of that. So with all that being said, my malnutrition just came unbelievable. In fact, there are sometimes, it sounds really gross when we're talking about gross stuff. I would have salad. It'd be out in 20 minutes.
I gotta tell you, I personally don't relate to it, but my husband, he had his large intestine removed when he was in the Corps. He was in the Marine Corps, and he had gotten a bug, and it whatever happened, he had ulcerative colitis, and then the large intestine was removed, and from the small intestine they created a J pouch. Sounds so super technical, but I understand to some extent, because I'd heard through him what he had to have gone through. So instead of using the colostomy bag or the sea bag, they reconstructed his insides to make it work when he eats. So when you say some of the things you say, I actually can understand that to a certain extent. But managing it sounds like it was, I know you have a lot of things that sound very incredibly emotionally and physically challenging, but you're smiling and you are telling us, you've told me that this was wonderful and you're so happy. So I'd love to hear, how did you overcome some of those hardships, and where are you at now?
Well, when in the very beginning, Lynda asked me a question about how I felt. Okay. Yeah. Just imagine going from a high school kid and into college, being very active. I did stuff that was unbelievable in college, to going and gaining so much weight. So to me, I was in so much pain and so freaking miserable. I don't even know how my husband standed me. I really don't. So when I was going through all that, that's how it was. I was a terrible person, and I could feel it. I did a lot of stuff with my kids, but I could feel the emotion. So when I started getting back healthier, I started to say, in fact, my husband would say to me, "Oh, Mary's back." Yes. In fact, real quick story. I know we got watch time. Real quick story. When I started taking some really different vitamins and nutrients, when people would say, "Mary, how are you doing?" I'd say, "I'm practically perfect in every way." Well, my doctor would say, "You're not." He would say, "I got you on pig enzymes. I got you on these vitamins. I got you on these nutrients, and you're not practically perfect." But I would say that all the time. And then I was getting B12 shots, iron infusions, and pig enzymes on a continuous basis until I started really taking care of myself and getting the nutrients and vitamins I needed. And then my doctor called me one day after he took some tests, and he goes, "Mary, I have to tell you something really that I don't want to say." I'm like, "Oh no, another surgery," because I had had so many surgeries. He goes, "I'm going to say it out loud, Mary. You're practically perfect in every way." And so ever since then, I take that all the time. I have it on my walls, practically perfect in every way, because of the fact that I had such a bad time with all that now I'm just so happy to be healthy. I've done things like do my bone densities every year, get that done. Got fake teeth, guys. Every tooth is gone. Every tooth is gone. My hair, I use different stuff in my hair now because I was going bald. So all that stuff is now coming back. So that, Lynda, is what I was able to take from it and learn from it and not go back to that. That's why I carry this every day. I will never, ever go back to this. Never.
Wow. What a story. I'm going to be thinking about this even after the show's over, meaning I'm not looking at it as a negative. I'm just thinking about, yes, you went through incredible challenges, but I know you as Mary, I do know you as you're practically perfect in every way. And it makes so much sense to me now when I hear you share sometimes your opinions where you say, you know, it's not a big deal. It's just not. And I'd be like, how is it not? But you know what? When it comes from someone who has endured the amount of calamity you endured, because it is, you know, it's very emotionally draining. It's spiritually draining. It's physically, what a taxing experience. But what you did, though, this is good. This is really good information for people to learn, because if anyone has made a decision to do it and they've done it and they're experiencing some of these hardships right now, that you have resources, you've learned how to overcome it, and you are still here today, even though you can look at certain things and think this happened and this happened and this happened. You are not only surviving, this is funny, you're thriving, you're thriving.
That's why I use that word.
That's why I use it. I think that I wish I could hug you right now through the camera. I'm so glad you shared that story. I really am.
Well, thank you very much. If I can just help one person to know that it's okay to think about gastric bypass or whatever you're going to use, the sleeve or Roux-en-Y, it's okay to think about it, but really take a look at all the avenues, because it's just a tool. It is not the saving grace. It is not the perfect thing. It's a tool to get you where you're going. And unfortunately, my tool, I have no choice now. I get to where I go and I have no choice, but it is a tool. I'm glad today they do things like the psychology, and they do the have to lose weight. I'm glad they do that now. Lynda, you're back. Yeah. But yeah,
that was funny. I was asking you questions and stuff like, they don't hear me at all.
No, I saw boats and ships and water, and
and then I disappeared. Well, you know, that's the beauty of live video. I just love it. But I do want to, Mary, I want to thank you so much for sharing your story, because, you know, oftentimes, like, for example, I met you now, right? I met you maybe 6 months ago. I met you online. I didn't know your history, like what your story is. So what's interesting is when we talk about positive thinking and all that stuff, I think you guys are kind of alluding to this before I dumped out. But when we talk about positivity and stuff like that, and there's people in life who have the laissez-faire attitude, like, you know, everything is perfect, like you were saying. And and some people won't believe that. They're like, I don't believe you. I don't believe that you actually really believe that. And what they don't realize is that it's the hardships that some of us have gone through at a younger age that give us that attitude now, which, thank goodness, we don't stick in that negative mindset, because you've come out of that negative mindset, because now you're like, I appreciate life. I'm so grateful to be here. I mean, I could have been dead. I mean, I don't like my teeth. You know, this happened to my teeth, but I can still eat. You know, I can still do this. I can still get up. I can still walk around, and all these different things that you are grateful for that make you realize how precious life is and how amazing it is. And to put yourself out there and to share your story. This is why I think it's so important that we share our stories, because it helps us to connect to people where they are today, to help them see that it doesn't always have to be like that. So I want to thank you so much for sharing.
No problems. I actually, while we're sitting here, I got a text from someone that said, Mary, thank you very much for sharing your story. I just shared it with my friend because she lost so much teeth. Oh, I'm just so excited. Now, I want to show you something. No one has seen this before. You guys are going to die. Are you ready?
I don't want to die.
I don't want to die either, but
you're going to see it. And no one has seen this before. This is the first time. Someone asked me to advertise this, and I'm going to do it for them. This is my teeth before I got my teeth. Can you see that?
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness.
I lost everything, and they were malnutrition. It was terrible. And Anita, and you might have seen it where I didn't smile much because I couldn't.
I did notice that, but I didn't know if it was just some people have different personalities where they just prefer not to, and I never questioned it. So.
Well, this is all the surgeries that were going on. I mean, I had to have so many surgeries in the last and this is just the last 6 months to a year. They would break in the root, and I'd have to go in and dig and take all that stuff out. And same with the bottom.
Wow.
Yeah. And then on top of it, the bone density, all that shrank. So it's kind of weird. In fact, the place is doing a study for me right now. We're trying to see if overweight people have smaller mouths, because that's where I'm working with people with a place and all that, and they're trying to. That's why sometimes people they have smaller mouths, so they can eat. Because that's kind of one of the things they're looking into. Because
interesting.
Yeah, and I had a very small mouth. And if you guys are not watching overweight people, if you're looking at them like a small mouth. I do that all the time.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I do have Nicole Monier who says that she's on the app, but she's not sure if it's working. So I don't know if Steven.
Yeah, he sent in chat, hello, Nicole. So she is there, but we're going to bring her on. We're going to bring her on in about 10 minutes or so. So hello, Nicole. We're looking forward to having you join us on the show in a couple minutes. So hang tight. Mary, so I want to ask, first of all, again, thanks for sharing your story. Really awesome. Man, the tragedy, the stuff that you've gone through has been, I can't even imagine myself. But what I want to ask you at this point, having the knowledge that you have about it, and knowing that today they're making different efforts, like they're doing, you mentioned the Y thingy, and then they're doing the sleeve, and people have to lose weight before they do it. They have to go through some kinds of like tests, or whatever to have it. Would you, if you were to be at that point today, 400 and over 400 pounds, and knowing what they're doing today, would you do it again?
Yes, I would. Let me tell you why.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal question and a big deal answer. Yeah.
Yes.
It is. And this is the reason why. Before I did the gastric bypass, I had done everything. I mean, I did after-fast where you don't eat, you just drink. Have you guys remember that a long time ago? Yeah. Redux, fen. I did all those types of things. And I was putting myself through a lot, and I would lose great. Oh my gosh, I would look fantastic, right? And then I gained it right back.
Yeah.
And I had to learn the hard way how to deal with my body. I had to learn. I have a twin who's really tiny, right? And I could never understand why my twin sister is super tiny. She runs marathons. I'm like, why can't I be like her? So I think I would have still done it, but I would have taken advantage of the psychology part of it, because to understand everyone always called me Little Mary until I got big. Then it was just Mary. And my twin is always so tiny. I think I needed a whole emotional thing need to be taken care of. Because that back and forth, I would get so much flack for that. I mean, the stuff people would call me was crazy when I was heavy. Because I would be with my twin sister. Remember, here's a big woman, or big young girl, and my little sister. They said, "You're twins? No way. How can you be twins?" So I would have done it again, yes, but I would learn more. Definitely learn more. Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you for answering that, because I think that was a question I wanted to make sure I did ask you, because we could talk about all the negatives about it, right? But then there also are some positives about it. And actually, the doctor I was hoping that would join us today, he's a world-renowned gastric bypass surgeon, and what he does though is he educates his patients, so hopefully they don't need the surgery, which I love. Right. A doctor who actually doesn't want to cut,
Right. Well, I think that's great, and I wish more people would educate. And some people are. The place I had it is long gone, closed, and everything else. But that is such a key thing. And I mean, even like health people I talk to now, a lot of them won't even help me because I had gastric bypass. So I'll go to a person. They won't even. They'll say, "No, I don't know how to deal with that." I mean, there's someone I can tell you a holistic doctor I went to, and they said, "Nope, can't help you." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" They don't know how to deal with my new inside. So,
Mary, I've got a question for you. Hopefully, I hope you can hear me, because I'm hearing noises that I don't know if it's me.
No, it was
Are you
Lynda.
Still there? Are you still there? Oh, okay. So my question to you is, when you were in, as you're going through all these revisions, as you're going through the psychological experience of everything, the emotional experience of everything, I know that you said that you came across, or maybe someone said this to you, whereas you're practically perfect in every way. Were there people or situations that had you, I'm going to say it this way, what were the people and situations that motivated you from feeling down? Because when you go through something like that, that could truly pull you under and say, like, I got nothing. I can't win for losing. Oh, this is all horrible. I hate the way I feel. I mean, you could just go into that dark place and never come out of it. And so what were some of the things that helped you come out of that?
That's a fantastic question because I didn't have a support system. My family thought I was crazy. My friends thought I was crazy. No one that was there. And at that time, I'll be honest with you, Anita, and you probably already know this, I have a pretty big ego. I try to keep it in check, but I was the one that kept me in check. I mean, I really was. There was times I would sit and I do a lot of self-talk, and I would just, I mean, you guys laugh at me sometimes, I visualize stuff. I do that all the time because my family was not into this at all.
So it was really you who got yourself out of this, and probably your maker upstairs, if that's something that you you fashion, if you believe in that. So that's huge, because I'm just thinking about, you know, there are different types of people in the market. There are people who find one way of approaching, you know, weight loss because of certain circumstances, and this is another way. I do know someone else that had this done and is happy as can be about it, but to be placed in a situation where, you know, here's these surgeons, they're doing it the way they know how, they make mistakes, you go back in, they make mistakes. I mean, to hear 12 surgeries in 12 years, I can't get over that, and I will. Eventually, I will be fine. However, I'm sitting there imagining you going under the knife constantly, and all you want to do is feel better and go back to where you were once upon a time, and it's just this uphill battle for you. But I am so applauding you. Okay, I am so applauding you for becoming I could cry about it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep it together. I'm going to just hold on a minute. I am so proud of you for doing Anita, what you did.
Well, thank you. I'm going to tell you the moment I was at Rush Hospital. I drove myself there. I had this big ass surgery. They went in, had to take a mesh out. No one. I mean, I don't have a big friend group, 2 or 3 people. They called me on the phone. No one wanted to come down. My sister, who was with cancer, she was the only one that came down. No one did. And at that moment is when I remember I was sitting right there. Dr. Myers came in. He said, "What's wrong?" I said, "I'm done with everyone. That's it. If I'm going to be practically perfect in every way, if I'm going to be the Mary I'm going to be, move out of my way, get going, move it, head first, just jump, go strong, do not stop, go. Because no one's going to look back. So
I get it.
And that's what I did. And I know exact moment that happened because I'm sitting there with a big ass thing on me. And my husband had the 2 kids. I would never expect him to come with 2 kids, right? I'm like, fine.
Yeah. So, I give you major kudos. I mean, yeah, I choked up there, and the reason why I did is because I in many ways I can empathize with you, because there are many times in my life where, you know, I'd watch American Idol, or you watch shows where there's always someone at the end, like there's this whole family of people and friends, and they're holding on to posters, and they've got T-shirts that say "Way to go," and it's like, I don't know that feeling. Because anything I ever accomplished, I accomplished by myself. Anything that I ever suffered, I suffered by myself. If I cried, I cried alone. And it really, that's why I felt the way I feel for you, because I remember those moments, and they're not fun to go through. And you do require the ego. This is where it comes to save you. And there's a lot of folks look at ego as a bad thing. Ego is there for a specific purpose. You just don't want to abuse it. And that purpose came for you. And I'm so glad that it did, because look at who you are today. Are you kidding me? I just have so much respect for you. I already did. But like, I elevated the level of respect for Mary, because that is an incredible story. I'm so glad that you pushed through and you got to where you are today. That was great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing. And I just want to share with you guys really quickly. This here, you may have seen this in a movie before.
That is gorgeous. I know.
For some reason, Steven and Nicole are trying to get my attention. You got my attention. Tell me what you need, you guys. So this is the Master and Commander from the Master and Commander movie. It's stationed here in San Diego. It's been here for years, and that actually is a Russian U-boat, or a boat. What do you call it? Submarine boat over there.
Submarine, yeah.
What's cool about this? Actually, I'm just going to say the Master and Commander. What's really cool about it is that apparently there's a lot of noise where I am. Okay, but is that it's so small and it looks humongous in the movie. So. But apparently there's a lot of noise in my background because there's some guy over there. I don't know. He's actually working on a Tuesday. I don't know.
The sander.
Go figure. They gotta do work around here. Well, let's invite Nicole. Let's invite Nicole to join us. And Anita, why don't you introduce her to us and share with us what how she's going to help
Where's my
participate in this conversation, talking about gastric bypass, and Mary, again, I want to thank you so much for sharing your story, because sometimes it's hard for us to share our stories, but for you to put it out there to the world is amazing. And there are going to be people you're going to help, like that one lady who sent you a message like during the show. So awesome.
Yeah. So everyone, I want you to meet my girlfriend, Nicole Monier. She's not just my girlfriend. She is one of the most amazing, holistic, I want to say Czech holistic, I say practitioner, which is a good way of calling you. I mean, because she's an expert. She's an expert in the holistic world, and she's Czech certified. And I know she'll share what the Czech means. But in the end, the whole thing I want anyone to know when it comes to me introducing her is, I met her through a friend of mine, and I was at the gym, and there she was, looking as adorably gorgeous as she does. And what I had learned about her was, she had her baby, a beautiful son who I love to death, and she just was in such great shape. She, and it wasn't just a fitness thing. This was just the way she was. And as I spent my time getting to know her and talking to her, I wanted to work with her. I'll keep it at this. She had taught me the concept of, I came from the typical world of, you just go and work out and you drink your shakes and then you'll get back into shape and everything will be fine. And when you grow up, after you go through high school and college, your body just completely decides to do whatever it wants to do, especially if you're female. I can't always speak for male. I don't know the details of the male as much of that when it comes to that area. But for women, a lot of changes take place. A lot of new stresses take place, and your history, however you behave, that's all involved. And so in the time that I spent with her, she truly educated me on not just eating the way we've learned to eat in the past. It was a whole new understanding of what really is out there. So without further ado, I don't want to take too much away from her. I want to introduce you to Nicole. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thanks for coming on board. I'm so glad you could make it at the moment that we talked about it. I'm so glad you could make it. Do you mind sharing with everybody the details of who you are and what it all means? Because I'm sure there's people that have never heard of. Oh, there's
You knew he'd be making a cameo. Well, first, I'm a mom. You know Anita. Yes, I am a Czech holistic lifestyle coach, but Czech practitioner. I'm officially a licensed professional with them, which I need to post on. This is going to be playing. Anyway, I stumbled upon Czech in 2013, and it changed my life. My nutrition changed. I think that when people think of health, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in an instant. And it's, in my opinion, ongoing. Like you say, you saw me at the gym and I look this way, or I was doing these things. And it's not like I did those things and my health is going to be there forever. I have to work hard for it every day. And, I tell my clients that it's really hard being healthy in the toxic world that we live in. And so I stumbled upon Czech. And, I thought I was eating healthy at that time. I was coaching and I, had been in the industry since the health and fitness industry since, say, 1998, I think, at the time. So I thought I was pretty well versed. But then, I changed my nutrition completely. And obviously what's meant to be is meant to be. But 7 months later, I got pregnant naturally at age 41 and had never, been pregnant prior to it. And then I got my Czech 2 in September of last year. And I had been waiting to do that. And, for a lot of people who are moms, they think that I don't know if they think, or it's the pressure from society or within their families, that they kind of have to go back to the way things are. And I knew that that wasn't going to be for me, that I knew that I wanted to spend as much time as possible with my son. And so I am so happy that I did get my Czech for 4 years later. I, waited till the time was right, and it was. And it also wasn't just about me learning. It was about me changing again.
What does Czech stand for when you say Czech? So in case people don't have heard of it.
Paul Czech is Czech Institute, and he has been in practice over, I'd say, at least 36 years, and he is known internationally. And there's about 10,000 Czech practitioners around the world. So it's not as common an education to achieve, I should say. It's people, I should say, like, there's, for example, I'm a personal trainer, but where I work, I'm the only one on staff out of 35, 40 trainers that have that education. It doesn't mean I'm better. I just have a different skill set, just like
You're a
some of
little
this.
better. You're a
Oh,
little
well,
better.
thank you. But so, from a standpoint of that, and Check is all about self-love and, the heart, like what this is about, heart living and heart healthy. And, I think that with this Check 2 education has helped me go to different areas of my life where I'm struggling and working through that health isn't just, hey, movement, go do this, go lift that, go sweat this out. And it's not just about nutrition and what you eat and what you don't eat. It's about the emotional baggage that many of us carry from our childhood. It's about any traumas we have throughout our life that we internalize, and breaks us down. It breaks our organs down. It destroys our heart. It destroys us physically. So, like, I mean, I like, I'm not going to cry right now, but I have been brought to tears thinking about, like, how grateful I am that his education crossed my path when I was like, I want to do more. I want to be more than a personal trainer. I want to have, like, this, holistic, approach. And it's like, I stumbled upon it, and it's like his way of, helping people heal and improve themselves it's amazing. And there's nothing like it out there.
And there's something that Nicole shared that I'm going to brag about, which is really, it was awesome. A lot of folks in this world are involved with medicines because they have certain conditions. And when you get involved with medicine, and there's a time and a place to have medicines. If you need it, then that's what you have to go for. But a lot of times there are other remedies that would actually resolve the situation. It's just more done through what's found on the earth. And so in Nicole's world, I remember her, she has more of an in-depth story that she can share on her own. But one of the things I remembered was there's a term that you hear nowadays where you're inflamed. You are taking all this medication because you have one allergy, and then you have a side effect from that. So now you're taking another medication. And so those are the things that start happening, where you start taking a lot of different medications just to fulfill whatever the issue is. And if you can share a little bit more about what had happened with you and how you changed out of there from that way.
So I was born sick, upper respiratory infection. I wasn't breastfed. And I was sick till about 33 years of life. My dad was a doctor. My mom was a nurse. My dad was a conventional doctor. And here I was, under their care. And then anybody that they recommended, they obviously know best. They're in the field. And I was getting sicker and sicker. And my dad died 23 years ago. I was 23 at the time. He was 57. And then my mom died 7 years ago. And so a doctor and a nurse, and neither one of them taught me how to be healthy. I had to learn on my own. And in my coaching today, that's really what I'm really educating people on is better self-care, better self-management, because most people aren't taught. And so now, being a mother we're looking at his monster truck. That's the one thing I really want to instill in my son. I really want to teach him how to be healthy, not just physically, but emotionally. And so with my journey, I stumbled upon an integrative chiropractor who basically had me, switch to approved foods, non-approved foods. And then that's his monster truck ramp. And then after 7 months, and I kid you not, 7 months, I followed it to a T. And those are his flames. I didn't cheat once. I had one, I shouldn't say once, I cheated once. I had one Portillo's chocolate cake shake, and burger, fries, like that. That was it. I didn't really have anything else in the 7 months. And I went from being on over, hold on, sweetie, we got to be able to see us. We got to see your cute face. I went from on being over a dozen prescriptions, having asthma, And that I was having asthma and reoccurring sinus infections, IBS, ruptured ovarian cysts, trips to the ER, all these, chronic health issues that no doctor could put a finger on or help me resolve, ended up getting resolved through food and supplementation. And so then since
crazy.
then,
How about that?
since then I've gotten, my own education. And I continue to get more because, as you ladies, I'm sure all know and agree, like the learning just never ends. The more you know,
Right.
the less you know. You think you know, but you know. So
Yeah.
my journey is that I can relate to so many people because most people are in pain. Most people are suffering, and it could be anything from the emotional pain to the pain of the inflammation, the chronic pain, what it is, the backaches, the shoulders, the knees, or it could
Right.
just be having, the pain of having to always go to the doctor and being this medication because you don't have an answer and you just don't know. And so
The pain of losing all your money, putting into
but that's it.
pharmacy.
That's
Right.
exactly it.
That's
Like
what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Finances.
my
I mean, think about it. It's horrible.
my
Right.
money goes
I mean,
through.
just imagine all the money I spent tons of money. You don't want to know into that with medical. But one thing you're saying to me that's hitting resonance with me is that I was doing pig enzymes, Creon. Okay. It was $170 a week. I had to do these pig enzymes. I went on something, I can't remember what it was. And someone said, eat pineapple.
How about that?
Pineapple.
How about pineapple? How about
That's
that?
right. Exactly. We love pineapple. I eat pineapple every day now because I
Pluck
don't
it
have
off the
to.
tree. It's right there.
Yeah.
Solves your problems.
Right, but no one said that to me, and so they'd rather take my money, take my money every week, and have these pig stuff going in me instead of eating pineapple. So I hear what you're saying. It's amazing if we just do a little homework and research how we can really get away from some of those medical, the prescriptions that are driving people to death. So that's really cool. I love that you're saying that. That is really, really great.
And, it's because of Nicole, I'm going to say this, because of her decision to change her lifestyle. It is a lifestyle change. And a lot of times people, when it comes down to how folks are really so deeply rooted into living the lifestyle that they've known all their lives, because listen, I was born and raised in Chicago. Everyone ate Wonder Bread with Jiffy peanut butter, and not knocking any of those brands, but we knew this was the American way. This is what we did. We watched TV and we wanted the cereal that's on the TV because, it tasted great. And I'm just saying, everything tastes great. But when we finally get to realizing what's being put into our food and we realize how we're living our lifestyle, I remembered this. When I met her and she had told me, one of the things that we did was, what I like to call, we brought my eating to a ground zero and rebuild from there. And I remembered that as I started learning about what I can choose to eat for my health, let's say if I started to feel a sore throat, I had a medicine cabinet that was loaded with all the things you would get over the counter. So I had my antiseptic. Do you remember that antiseptic, chloroseptic, whatever thing you spray in your throat?
Yeah.
Oh, but that's what I did my whole life. You just go get the antiseptic, chloroseptic, and you spray, and you spray it all day long, and you're probably, digesting all sorts of stuff. So I learned that there were certain ingredients you put along with apple cider vinegar, cayenne pepper, ginger, honey, lemon. There's a lot of different things you can put together to create this little concoction, and you drink it like a tea. And for 6 years now, so far to date, 6 years, I've never fallen sick like I had always. Normally there's a fever, there's bronchitis, there's, major sinus blowouts. And I still get a little sinuses here and there, but I have not fallen sick, no flu, nothing. And it's due to catching your situation and knowing how to remedy it immediately. And I owe that to her because she educated me on some of the ways that we can take care of things. So I call her my health coach because she's the person who really was helping me appreciate my health in the way I'm supposed to. And one of the phrases you say, I still quote you now, where she says, this is so freaking true. When you live in Chicago, at least, it's hard to live healthy in an unhealthy world. So you're going to live learning all these wonderful things, and you've got to be able to be consistent and
Grow a
committed to it,
backbone.
right? Yeah.
Grow a backbone.
Yes.
You got to grow thick skin.
And we have to grow a new backbone because our backbones were designed by what everyone else is telling us to do. And we're like, okay, my mom believed that whatever the doctor said was what it was. And I'm not saying doctors are wrong. They have a purpose in this world, and it's wonderful that they can do what they can do. However, if there are remedies that are natural that you can just get and take care of, and it actually works, why not go in that route? And if it works for me, I mean, I'm really glad that she was able to come on here, and I'd love to hear, you know, what are some of the things that you found really difficult that you were able to overcome, Nicole?
Well, I guess something that I'm kind of going through now is I think a lot of people think like, oh, the workouts or the nutrition, and you know what, all that. Oh, he's kissing you.
I want to scratch his hair.
Is, you know, all that stuff is challenging, but I think what goes deeper, and this is what I love about Check 2, is that it allows me to connect into that emotional piece, where right now I've been working through a lot of unconscious patterns. Hey, can I get on there? Can I get on there? Unconscious patterns. We all have them, okay? But unconscious patterns that I've carried on from generation to generation. And you know, my entire family's deceased. My father, my mother, and then my brother actually passed away in May, and he and I would talk about just a lot of the unhealthy behaviors that we learned from our parents. And it doesn't mean my parents were bad people, because again, it's what they learned. He's putting the flashlight on me. Okay, so I've had to unlearn not just, you know, unhealthy food choices. I've had to unlearn unhealthy patterns in, you know, maybe the men I picked for relationships, where a lot of people don't realize that they're picking unhealthy partners, female or male, over and over again, and they're putting themselves in situations unconsciously. I'm just gonna fit in here where I can. I know you can hear me.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Can you guys hear me? Are you guys able to hear me now? Are you able to hear me? Okay. Well, we have literally 2 minutes left, Nicole. So what I'd like you to do in that 2 minutes is to share with our audience something that they can use to take away for them that will help them to, you know, get on the path of healthiness so that they can live the life that's, you know, just a healthy life that we can have here on the planet.
That's great, Lynda. You took exactly what I was going to ask. Let's hear that.
Well, cool. First thing I would suggest is, one, you need to know what your dreams and goals are, and two, you need to have a plan, an action plan, and you need to have goals that are attainable and small, nothing that is too big. And having somebody hold you accountable, whether you hire a coach or you have somebody on your dream team, whether it's a spouse, a friend, a parent, a coach, somebody on your dream team, so that you know that you're not alone and that you can reach your goal. And like I said, in many cases, people may need to hire somebody to get them through it. I mean, like I've hired people to educate me, even though I'm doing the coaching. It's like I'm still using their expertise. And I think for any of us to want to improve in any area of our life, there's no shame in ever asking or hiring for help. And I think that's those are just a couple of ways.
Not just health. That goes with anything in life, your business, your family life, what have you. Yeah, setting those goals and having somebody like an accountability partner or a coach or somebody who can, you know, help you through that. So I want to thank you so much for being on the show. So what we're going to do is, Steven, you have her website. If you could put that up on the screen, and then we'll put it in the comments below. And then if you want to connect with Nicole or anybody who is on the show, type the word talk in the comments below. And my messenger bot, which is not set up yet, will send you a link to how you can connect with us. And so, Nicole, I'll get your information so that we can include that in the messenger bot. Okay. But thank you so much for being on the show. You know, talking about health is
Nicole.
Really important. So thank you.
And Grayson.
Thank you. Bye.
Have fun. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so we have just a couple minutes left. I want to end the show with us all talking about the show today. I just want to start and just say, Mary, I want to thank you so much for sharing, you know, from your heart, your story, and that was very enlightening and impactful, to me and to Anita, obviously, right there, and then our listeners as well. And what Steven is showing up on the screen right now is next Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK time. We're going to be joined by Frank Shankwitz. He is the creator and co-founder of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. He'll be sharing with us the story of how the Make-A-Wish Foundation got started and what's next for Frank, which is a movie in the making called Wishman. So I'm really excited about that. So Anita, why don't you share with us your thoughts on today's show?
I think that it's an eye-opener to see that you have so many different ways of trying to attain better health in life, because the fact is we've only got this one body that's with us, and we've got our spirit that's residing in this body, and what we have to do with that. It's nice to be able to know that you do have options, and whatever option you choose, get committed to it, ask as many questions as you can, learn a lot about it so that you can see how you can fit into that. And then when you finally make that decision to go in whatever direction you decide to go to, stay committed, like I mentioned, and you'll see the results, and you'll know how to overcome some of the challenges that you were going through before. So I wish everyone the best when it comes to eating and living healthy.
Awesome. And Mary.
Oh, wow. I think the biggest thing I could share with everyone is you are in charge of yourself. And you are making the decisions for yourself. Be happy with those decisions you're making and own them. Own them. And if they're yours, you own them for yourself. And only you can answer the questions that people may be asking. Make the decisions for yourself, health-wise, mental-wise. You do it for yourself. Not for anyone else, but yourself.
That's right.
That's so good, because I know even Anita mentioned that I didn't really have that cheerleader with me, and I really, everything I've done, I've succeeded by myself, and so I think so many of us have that, right? But to realize that really being your own cheerleader should be enough. It really should.
It should
because
be.
It should be. Like, why do we need approval from others in order for us to do the things that we want to do? We really don't need that. And as Mary stated, having control over your own brain, we have control over it unless we let it control us. It's our choice. It's our choice. So you can make decisions today to change your life for tomorrow, and make every step forward a step forward for you. And sometimes people think, oh, that's selfish. But you know what? You are the only you that you have. And when you get to the end of your life, you're going to be saying, I wish I had. So rather than that, have no regrets, #no regrets. And we will see you guys next Tuesday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK time, as we talk to Frank Shankwitz, the creator and co-founder of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It's going to be an amazing show. So tune in. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye. Thanks to our sponsors, the Live Video Hub.